Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM21 Career Mode. We're on episode 82. Before we kick off the racing for the season, I wanted to look at a few things, a couple new things we haven't looked at before, just for examples, just to really kind of set us up. Well, anyway, right now I have a specialized search, a search that simply excludes a number of nations. In particular, the top 20 nations that are ineligible to us. The top 20 nations in the rankings at the time that we started this series. Excluding those top 20, Berlikov is the best rider in the world outside of that. Herfried Marte, Austrian rider, is also Austria ranks 24th. So they're on my excluded list, which is actually 29 nations. So I have 9 more to go to bring the list all the way down. Andrew Warburton, American, just 22 years of age, at an 81 overall, is the other next best. Both of them have expiring contracts in 2026. 30,000, 45,000 is what they're making currently. Warburton, a climber, 82 mountain, 75 time trial. I mean, he's solid. Marte, a sprinter, 84 on the sprint. Good, but beatable. For me, he'd win a lot though. But he's beatable. Another notable thing, as we will continue to whittle this list down, I will remove a few more nations from the list and see where we're at. I wanted to try my scouting a little bit different this year. Instead of having to go nation by nation and see who I haven't scouted, I want to go by every nation that I can, get them all lumped together, and scout the best riders that are out there. It's a much easier way to go about it, especially at this point, as I have scouted so many already. It's easier to scout the ones that I want to scout, especially the new ones that are out there. It's a good way to find them. Well, anyway, other noteworthy thing, Alexi Berlikov. Yes, reminder, the heartbreaking, he has left us. He has left us for Movistar. He's only 23 years of age. He's an 82 overall. He's incredible. He's getting paid $161,000 on a 2-year deal. So he's going to expire again next year, but $161,000. Just for comparison's sake, we had $92,000 available. So, no, we could not re-sign him. We did try. If you didn't see that part of the episode, he's getting paid $70,000 more than that. Oh, right. Yeah, can't afford him. Not only can we not afford him with the $92,000 that we had available for this season, but even with not spending all of it, our entire budget is exactly $150K. So even if he was the only rider on our roster, we still couldn't afford him. Okay, I know some of you totally get it and understand and are right there with me that, man, oh man, would we love to have him back. But we cannot afford him. Neither could most teams. We really, really honestly cannot afford him. That being said, looking at our list of 21st and on down in the ranking of nations, Farhat Karaman, the best rider in terms of bang for your buck, $9,400, and he still has till next year on the deal. We got a good one. He has leveled up since October. He is now an 80 overall as we go to start the season. Let me eliminate, say, 5 more from the nations list, and we'll see how this looks then. Now, with the top 25 nations excluded, the list starts looking even more favorable towards us, at least on what we've already acquired. Of course, Berlikov now hands down the best rider outside of the top 25 nations. Karaman, the next best. Benyam Gourmet, who we wanted to sign, could not sign. Looks like we might have been able to. He ended up signing for $56,000 with Direct Energy, and he expires a year from now. You never know. We might be able to get after him at that point. Polyakov is the next best rider out there. Abner Gonzalez, that's one to keep an eye on, as we have watched out, but he has another year on his contract, and that pushes us down into 77, 76s. Let's go ahead and take those last 4 out of the list and see where we're at, see what the eligible nations are and how we compare, and who's maybe available to maybe try to get after and sign this coming year. All right, so here is the list now of what is available to me. If we had the top 3, if we had Berlikov, Karaman, Gourmet, we would be in World Tour. If we had Berlikov, Karaman, Martin, Guerrero, we might have qualified. And after looking at everything, we might not have qualified. The threshold to get in is crazy. And remember, Karaman was a 79 in October. Berlikov, Gourmet, we're not going to get them next seasons. We have to look below. Abner Gonzalez also has 1 year left on his contract. That brings us into Svetsyan, who's puncher, I believe. Stojnic, one to watch out for. They're both making $20K right now. They're both going to want to get paid. And looky here. Vinkis, Berador, 76 overall. Not a lot of quality there. Think of him as a time trialist and domestique. But he's probably going to be pretty affordable and could come into the mix as a pretty talented rider. Bogdan Savitsky, another one to watch out for. Belarusian, 79 flat rating, 76 stamina. That is somebody who can really, really lead a peloton as we do get to the stage where we have enough riders to properly compete and support our best climbers. The Karaman, the Martin Guerrero, Isakov. You start lumping those guys all together with some development, maybe not to a Berlikov type level, but to a Karaman type level. You get 3 guys at that sort of level where they're supporting one another. Then it makes a lot more sense to have a high flat rating type road captain who can lead you through those kilometers when you do lead a race and not have things blow up the way we did with Berlikov. Our team just not deep enough to be the leader of a Grand Tour for that long, and it really, really blew up in our face. Luckily, we recovered 3rd in that tour last year, but what races will be in this season, we don't know yet. We've applied to all 3. No idea if we'll make any 1, 2, or nothing. First round of invites for the year: Paris-Nice, not including us. Liège-Bastogne-Liège, not including us. Dauphiné will include us. We're in the Dauphiné this year. We will be in the Tour de France. Okay, we'll get a chance to get another podium. Flèche Wallonne will include us. Paris-Roubaix will include us. I'm really happy with the signing of Bernotas at this point. It's still January. We haven't even entered February, and he just leveled up, and he leveled up big time. This was one of those young first-year talents a year ago, and even though his potential is in the 3.6 range, I'm wondering if he's on the higher end of that because he's already jumped from a 72 to a 75 with that level up. He now has a 76 in the sprint department, good stamina, resistance is tolerable at a 71, and flat is good at a 75. Now, he's not going to win much with that, but he's going to get us one step closer to being competitive, and I would think one more level up from him. A couple more points in the sprint, and we can actually start trying to get a win here and there. Not consistently at a 78. We're not going to beat all those guys in the mid-80s on a regular basis, especially when the majority of the races we do are the World Tour ones and not the Continental ones. He could win an occasional Continental at this point. And we have our next wave of invites. Tirreno Adriatico, in. Milano Sanremo, out. And the Giro, defending champions, in. So we've already got an invite to 2 Grand Tours, the same 2 we were at a year ago. We were not at La Vuelta. We'll see if we can get in on that one this year. But of course, no Berlikov. So are we going to be as competitive? Probably not. Can we still finish well, though? Sure. I don't see why not. In fact, we have better time trialists now as leaders. Just not quite as strong in the climb. But Karaman's got an 81 mountain rating. It's not an 84 like Berlikov had, but it's not that far from it. I think we can still compete for top 5s, maybe a top 3. And the first race of the season that I'll be picking up with is the Vuelta San Juan International. 3 key stages out of the week-long event. Stage 2, punchy. Berlikov has won it. He'll have an advantage entering the subsequent stages. Martin Guerrero, though, very much in contention, equal on time with 5th place through 10th. We've got a time trial coming up and then 1 mountain stage. Setting off on the time trial, I had high hopes. Ryabovas, who is not as good of a time trialist, was 2nd place behind Owain Doull, just a few seconds down. Now, Mads Schmidt, Paddy Bevan, Ben Thomas have all gone 1, 2, 3 at the top as they are quite... Oh gosh, that is not the time. I thought it was on an 86. It was a 76. So not only have I screwed up to make Martin Guerrero's life much harder, but he drew a -4, which is making life much harder for him. Yeah, that was him and he should have been set to an 86, but I somehow had him set to a 76 as he set off. But terrible draw for Martin Guerrero with a -4. He's not going to put up a very good time, and I definitely made it that little bit worse by going way too easy towards the end there, or towards the beginning, that is. 33rd, 48 seconds down. Ouch. But part of that is terrible draw. -8 to the stamina resistance. Now, the entire team are mid to high 80s on the fitness, as I didn't see a need to start on very high. I already saw last season and the seasons before that when you do start a little high, it does nosedive at the end of the season. So trying to set them up at a high level when we have no World Tour races at the start of the year made a bit of sense. That, not a good run for Martin Guerrero, sets him back a bit. Ryabovas already all the way down to 10th place, even though he was sitting 2nd. Schmidt hangs on to take the win ahead of Almeida, Pogacar, those guys favorites for the overall. 1 mountain stage to come. Let's see if we get a better race day condition for Martin Guerrero and a better run and get it back in contention. Okay, race day condition is definitely better today. This is stage 5 of 7, but we have 2 sprint stages following, so this will be for the GC, the deciding moment. Martin Guerrero still a negative race day condition, but at least it's only a -1 this time. We will protect him. Ryabovas is just a few spots behind him in the standings now in 17th. We'll protect him as well. Bernatas with that 76 sprint. Good. He had a 4th place on the last stage through the quick sim with Caleb Ewan winning the stage. So definitely a sign, because that's something we have not been seeing at all. One downside I have to trying to get Martin Guerrero a strong finish besides another, negative race day condition for him. The one thing I really got to watch out for is Ryabovas and him are the only ones that can climb that are here. So lacking support. And you may notice I only have 5 riders. We lost 1 rider to a crash. Sekaguchi lost to a crash in one of the first stages to this one, so he's out injured. Not sure how long he'll be out injured. But this, a whole lot of climbing. 130k to go. And the elevation we're at now, we're going to leave behind and then climb. And it'll level off for a while and then climb. And level off and then climb. But very little anyway, downhill sections. This is just an up and up and up type day. 120k to go. I'm going to have Wakira be the water guy. And we'll do so as we approach the Cat 3 here, which is now 5k away. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it now with 3 kilometers to go. 110k overall. That'll make it pretty easy, especially without too much climbing involved today. For early season, it's a hard climb. Late season, today's nothing to worry about. But how long can we hang on when the two climbers we have just really aren't that good? Only 85 in the Peloton, 8 in the break, 2.5 minute gap. And we are now at 80 kilometers to go. And again, we climb. Akira, we want to hang on. Martin Guerrero. Up those efforts. Akira, a little bit more just in case we see an acceleration. We haven't seen it yet, but we're bound to see it at some point. Looks like we might have started to accelerate a bit. Okay, through the second categorized climb of the day, but it continues straight on. It's like a halfway point type checkpoint. And we are now inside our window to get water. But we're going to hold off a little bit longer. 5K to go to the top. We'll do so at about 2.5K. There we go. Oh, big acceleration right as we hit the water. That's one guy attacking, probably going for KOM, I would think. Kira, he's fine. Berggren hangs on. So those guys get through. And now the chase is on for the last three riders. 2.5 minutes up the road. Long bridge here. Looks like there might be a dam nearby. Is there any sign of one? No. Not from this viewpoint anyway. And we prepare for the final climb. We still have 34K to go. And in just a little bit from down, we're going to start going up. In fact, the false climb begins right now. 2%. Still flat, but definitely not flat. 2%. You can feel that a little bit. Okay. Speeding up. Wakira. 86. 83, 83. 84 for Riabovis, not quite as strong. 85 maybe. Wakira, I want you to tail Martin Guerrero, Berggren. Go ahead and use your gel as we're going to start climbing proper here in just a moment. I think this is our signal that this is the base of the climb. And it ramps up. 2.9, 3.0. Now we're officially using our mountain ratings. 4.5%, 5%. Bernatas, we're going to use his gel here fairly soon. 16K to go. But he's hanging in there nicely at the moment. Not much tempo. But here comes the tempo as Savitsky attacks. Nance Peters, Klein following. Others try to keep this thing in check so it does not get away. And we're going to have riders get dropped here quite soon. We've nearly caught the front three. And we have 11K to go. This is not a group well suited to a sprint train tactic. But at some point, it may make sense. We're not chasing hard.
Goes onto the attack.
A steady tempo is something that would go better for us. Martin Guerrero, not too good at chasing here. Bergen, okay, he's fading. Bernotas is still here. But let's go ahead and get Wakira on the task of protecting Martin Guerrero from now on. And at 7.5K and not too steep, a 3-rider train is very different than a 7-rider train. Let's use Wakira's gel as he's holding the front. We're catching those last 2 riders from the break here in just a moment. 6K to go.
That's the end of the breakaway. The
5.5. And we're seeing the next acceleration. Let's exclude Bernotas. Let's just go ahead and set him to auto. Alright, Wakira. We're not letting Savitsky get away.
Acceleration by Savitsky.
The riders are entering
or
the last
Almeida,
lap
or
kilometers of the
Schachman, or
stage.
Pidcock. Okay, 99 Wakira, you're out of red
The
bar.
team leader is falling behind.
3.8. 3.8. Ryabovas. Leaving Wakira behind. Front group trying to escape, but not succeeding. However, Martin Guerrero does not have a whole lot left. -1, not helping him, and he's not that great of a climber. 1.8, coming up on the finish. Pidcock going for it. I'm not worried about one rider getting clear. I'm trying to improve our position, see if I can't get us back into the top 10. Ryabovas, just about getting the job done, and
The
he
pack
is
has just
done.
reeled in the
Now
escape
Martin
group.
Guerrero with 900 meters has to just continue on as best he can and not get dropped by these guys, so he can officially finish in the group. Maybe not. Right at the end, he's fading.
Victory right on the
Pogacar,
line. A real
Berlikov.
show of power.
Berlikov in green because he's got the leader's jersey. Pidcock, no, he's got the under
We're
25s
waiting for the
jersey
tail
on.
enders who continue to arrive.
We do grab 12th on the stage, and there's definitely some separation near the top. We'll see what kind of time that nets us. Ryabovas, meanwhile, was 22nd. If we're lucky, that can get us into the top 10, because it's time trialists that we've got to knock off. Remember, we had a punchy stage, we had a time trialist, and we had a mountain stage. So coming from 14th and finishing 12th does not necessarily mean we'll be in 13th. Depending on how those other ones translate, punchers could have been well back and lost time. Time trialists could have been well back and lost time. Same time at the top, all the way through 37th. Ouch. Oh, that's harsh. That's really harsh. Only one rider loses time. Whoever it was is now between us, because I know we were 13th and 17th. So, or 14th, 17th. We're now 13th and 16th. Only one rider losing time. That's a shame. That's a real shame. We will not even crack the top 10. There were definitely time gaps, and that's classified mountain. Game's letting us down again. Now, our position wouldn't have been great. I mean, I'm looking at like top 10. These guys, they were all there. They were all there. But I want to bet that Schmidt wasn't, probably. 25th. Yeah, he was only 25th. He definitely would have lost time, because we saw a significant gap between Martin Guerrero and Ryabovas. Somewhere in here, there was a gap of about 30 seconds between one of these groups of riders. So there's one position lost. Paddy Bevan, Kwiatkowski, Thomas, even Jorgensen, were any of them there? Right? We could be sitting at about 7th place right now. It is what it is, though. You got to deal with it. You got to move on. Not a big race, but it was a sponsor objective. They wanted us to win. Berlikov just about pulled that off. He won a stage. He took 2nd here. He sits 5th overall, but he's not a good time trialist. We've just entered February, so we've only had a couple of these guys or a handful of these guys for 2 months now since they joined up with the team. Just 3 months since we had last checked in at the end of last season. And during that stretch, of course, we saw Karaman has leveled up. We saw Newman, Bernotas already jumping to a 75 from a 72. So really huge gain there. Sakaguchi is a 73 now. Ryabovas has gone from a 74 to a 75. We have more 74s. The team itself has leveled up pretty rapidly, and we're already down to just 2 riders from our initial group. 2 riders from the 5 that we signed left where they started. Wakira, a 72. Berggren, a 71. The others have all leveled up already. That's a good start. And out of all those originals that we had signed in past years, Rezanaukis and Kovalevsky, Maida, the only ones left at a 71 or below. everybody else, 73 and above, Lukashis, they're the only ones left at a 73. All 4 of them with expiring contracts this season. Probably going to let all 4 of those guys, let them go, let them move on. Sato, now a 74 overall, may or may not be moving on. He hasn't done a whole lot, but he did start, I think, at about a 68. So he's come along. But Kalnin's expiring. We might want to hang on to him. I mean, we do need somebody, either Sato or Kalnin's, to return to go along with the other new sprinters. But you can see this new crop, this new bunch, is just raising the bar. And outside of making a stretch this season to bring in some sprinters and classics riders, because we didn't have them, I think we go back to signing 74s, 75s this next year, guys that are already a notch above. And that is, again, going to raise the profile to where we don't just have leaders and then a notch below strong support riders and then your domestiques. I want to have an entire group of, yes, you have your leaders, but then everybody else is below that and looking to emerge as leaders, and everybody else is competent support riders. That's my goal, and that's where I normally find that range where we start winning a lot of races at World Tour level. Somehow we're still not World Tour level, and I think so much of that has to do with the fact of the nature of the playthrough, right? We're excluding the 29 best nations. We saw that list. We have majority of the best riders already. I didn't show you this last time, but I'm going to go back to it here real quick. I know my face is covering it slightly. You can see, yes, okay, we have 4 of the top riders right now. But when we scroll down, so Bernotas, make him the top of the list now. Look at the next wave. Look at that next wave of riders. We have majority. And we've been close to signing a few of these guys and still may do so. Siftsy, Gosinmov, Rosas, Savitsky, Petrov, the young mid-tier guys. You better believe we're going to be going after all of those. Venkis, couple 26-year-olds, quite a few that are not expiring in this year, but will expire next year. But in terms of the 26 expirations, we're going to be going after quite a few of these guys, and should be relatively affordable. And it could push us into that next level. But the tricky thing is, we need something like this. And that's all there is. And we can't get after, those 3 best right now. So chances are we're going to be looking to sign a couple of these guys. But realistically, Karaman's there. Karaman's at the level he needs to be. We need an 80. Martin Guerrero, and where is he going to improve? He has slowed down. We've got a lot of levels out of him already at 24. But he's not going anywhere. He'll still be with the team. He'll be one of the ones we count on. But is he still going to be a 77 in October? Or will he have at least pushed to 78? I think we're going to need him to at least get to 78. Isakov right now is the big hope for us. Or Bernotas. I mean, if Bernotas has gone from a 72 to a 75 in one level up, and we know that he was a new gen last season, if he's already that good, what's his potential? He's only a 3.6. He probably has one more level in him. So does that push him to a 77? I think that puts most of our hopes and dreams into Isakov reaching a 79 before the end of the season, as he's just 21 years of age. He does have an expiring contract this year, though, so we'll need to get him re-signed. That's going to take a little bit of money. Venkis is going to be a little more affordable one because he's a Bearador. Maybe that's where our hopes are, primarily in these two. getting up there and getting signable and being affordable. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.